developing story concerning alleged abuse of the rights of some illegal miners arrested on a concession, and there are growing calls tonight for an independent probe into how some military officers forced illegal miners arrested on Anglo Gold Ashanti's concession to allegedly crawl on their elbows in muddy waters with guns pointed at them, according to ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee, John Junapo. Some Galamsey operators who were arrested on that concession belonging to that firm were allegedly tortured and brutalized without having been taken through due legal process.
Disturbing reports on the treatment meted out to suspected illegal miners who were arrested on the premises of Anglo Gold Ashanti, a mining company in Obuasi, by military officers. We are well informed that on the 15th of July, the military arrested some suspected illegal miners on the Anglo Gold field and subjected them to torture, inhumane treatment, abuse of their human rights, amongst others. The minority find this development most unfortunate, disturbing, and we strongly condemn the use of brute, excessive, and disproportionate force in the so-called fight against illegal mining. This flagrant disregard of our laws and constitution under the Akufo-Addo-led government is most unfortunate and must be roundly condemned in the strongest terms possible. We find this incident despicable. We find this incident unfortunate. And we find this incident highly reprehensible. Even more disturbing is the fact that the Akufo-Addo-led government has remained mute following this incident. This is a heinous crime meted out to ordinary Ghanaians. You and I would agree that the level of unemployment is at an all-time high. And so even as we claim that we are fighting against illegal mining, it ought to be done in accordance with law. We would not countenance any attempt by this government using military force to brutalize, maltreat, and subject ordinary Ghanaians to inhumane treatment.
Well, he wants an independent probe.
Even as they do this, they have turned a blind eye to foreigners. Whilst they are chasing Ghanaians, pursuing Ghanaians, and brutalizing the ordinary Ghanaian, foreigners are always being treated with kid gloves. And in some instances, the law is compromised to favor these foreigners when they fall foul within the laws as far as the mining sector is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, you will recall the infamous incident involving a Chinese Galamsey queen known as Aisha Wang. Following her arrest for her involvement in illegal mining, rather than prosecuting her to serve as a deterrent to others, the state unilaterally and surprisingly discontinued the case in court on a very flimsy and baseless excuse, as was said by Mr. Osafumafu. The Ghana stood to have economic gains from releasing the suspects. This clearly demonstrates the double standard being practiced by the Akufo-Addo-led government. The minority therefore wish to call on government, particularly the Minister for Defense, the Minister for Interior, and the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, to, as a matter of urgency, constitute an impartial, credible investigation into this dastardly act. And whoever is found culpable must face the full rigors of the law. Ghana is governed by the Constitution, we are governed by the rule of law, and the minority would not sit unconcerned for some few people to mishandle and demean the very basic rights of the ordinary Ghanaian.
Well, that's a ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee. I want to bring in a civil society group work in the mining communities, technical director with Wakam, Kwekwa Fari, joins us on the telephone line right now. Mr. Fari, have you seen the videos about this alleged incident that the ranking member talks about?
Good evening, Evans. Well, unfortunately, I've not had the opportunity of seeing the videos, but I've read some of the reports from some media outlets today, yeah, of these alleged treatments.
In the video, you see these men who are, being asked to lie in the mud. You see several, gentlemen wearing military fatigue and having guns over them. You work in these communities. Um, what do you say about what this is and what we've just heard and read so far?
Well, Evans, if these alleged treatments were indeed meted out to these people, we should first point out that illegal mining operations, it's something which is not accepted in the country, whether it is done on a mining company's concession or any other land. It is an illegal operation and it is against the law. And to also arrest someone and also met out inhumane treatment to the person is also clearly against the provisions of our constitution. And rightly speaking, when you look at Article 15 for respect to human dignity, it talks about the fact that no person, whether or not arrested, restricted, or detained, should be subjected to torture, cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment, or any form of punishment. In a sum, when someone is arrested, the best thing to do, or the right in which the law prescribes, is for you to take the person to the police station for investigations to be done, arraigned before a court, and for the court to pronounce judgment on the guilt or not of the person. So to take measures into your own hands and mete out punishment to these people who are alleged to have operated illegally, it's something which goes against the provisions of our law. And for us, the rule of law should prevail. And gone are those days when mining activities, companies used to take the law into their own hands. Shraj has well documented these things as far back as 2008, where community people were maimed, were arrested, were detained in private cells of these mining companies on alleged basis that they were working on the concessions of these mining companies. And these were well documented. Wakam has well documented these. So these are the days of these things are long gone, and I'm quite surprised that we are seeing these things once again. And mining companies, the country, we've all signed on to the voluntary principles, which we pledge to adhere to guidelines that will promote peaceful mining operations in mining communities. So where community people are arrested on basis that they are alleged to have committed a crime, the best thing is to take them to the police station for them to be arraigned and for the court to pronounce judgment on them. So I'm quite surprised and I'm quite shocked that such issues are coming out, if indeed they are.
The minority side wants an independent probe in this. Is that necessary?
Well, obviously, to investigate is not something which is wrong. The issue is what is in the video, if indeed is in the case. It shouldn't be happening. So if an investigation will address this issue, we totally support it so that we don't see people taking the laws into their hands, whether individuals, mining companies, or our security agencies. The right thing to do is when you arrest someone, take the person to the police for the person to be arraigned before a court. That is it.
Thank you very much. That's the technical director with the WACAM. That's an NGO that works in the communities when it comes to mining. If you haven't seen the videos, it's on myjoyonline.com. But this is an audio extraction from what you will see if you go on my Joy Online. And also go to our live Facebook page right now to watch it yourself. And what you see will be several men who have been asked to lie down in the mud, the muddy water. Have several gentlemen standing over them, with gun at ready, all in military fatigue as well. You see a mining cave right also behind them, and as you heard in the sound there, they're being yelled at. Nobody knows what has happened to them since. We're still working to get further details on have they been handed over to the police since the military guys intercepted the operations. They're supposed to be illegal miners. More on this pretty shortly. Let's turn our attention